Hello viewers, welcome back to Success Educational Consult, a continuation of our BECE Solutions 2025. I remain your mathematics facilitator, Sir Prosper. Let's get into it. Today we are moving on to question number 4. Question 4 is says a woman borrowed 5,300 Ghana cedis to pay for her child's university fees. If she borrowed at a rate of 8%, underlined, simple interest per annum, also underlined, for 9 months. Find the interest paid. So you borrow money from the bank. The bank uses money to run their daily activities. So when you borrow money from the bank, you are going to work with it. So at least when you are bringing it back, there should be some sort of interest which will serve as a profit for the bank. So that is what you need to add to that amount so that you give it to the bank for doing you good or a favor. That's what you call interest. You can also borrow from a friend, or you can also lend money to someone and then add something to it. That is also called interest. The interest should come at a period of time. So it depends on the period and also the interest rate, which is what we have here. The interest rate over here is 8%. Then the 8% simply means 8 out of 100. The word percent simply means for every 100 or out of every 100. Now to calculate for simple interest, so simple interest, or you can just use I. Yeah, we call it simple interest because there is another one called compound interest. So this is just the simple one. So simple interest, we say, is given by the principal times the rate times the time. Now, anytime you see rate, normally in interest, the rate is measured in percentage. So the rate is over 100. The rate is over 100. In short, we say simple interest is given as PRT all over 100. The 100 is as a result of the rate, which is measured in percentage. Take note of that. Now let's get into the question. Our principal is 5,300. So calculating for the interest, 5,300 times, well, I'm not giving the data because in most jurisdictions, examiners don't regard that. The data is already in the question. So go straight to the point, answer your question, and then go your way. No time wasting. 5,300 times the rate, which is 8%. So 8 over 100 times the time, which is 9 months. Per annum simply means for every year, or per year, times 9 months. Now, the time over here is in years, but the time in the question is in months. So we simply have to convert the months into years. And converting months into years, we say that you need to do what? Divide by 12, because 12 months make a year. And anytime you are converting from a smaller unit to a bigger unit, you need to divide. And then from a bigger unit to a smaller unit, you multiply. So you are converting from months to years. So months is smaller than what? Years. So we need to divide the 9 by 12. So times 9 over 12. So you are calculating for this. Your brain is your calculator. You are not allowed to use the calculator in the BECE hall. This is not WASI. It is different from WASI. So your brain is your calculator. That is why the cancellations and those things are very, very, very important to show that you did the work yourself. So we can use these two zeros to divide this, or we say the 100 will divide this 300, leaving 3, just this 3. So we have our 53 over here. Then we can also say that 9 and 12 have something in common. They have a common factor, and the highest common factor is 3. So we use 3 here, 3 times, and then we use 3 here 4 times. After this, take your time and go through. You can rewrite what you have. 53 times 8 times 3 over 4. Then use this 4 to divide the 8 twice. Multiply this 2 by this 3 to get 6. So we have 53 times 6. Your brain being your calculator, you can decide to use any method you want to multiply. We are using the vertical method today. You can use the lattice method, distributive approach. Any method you want to use will work for you. So 6 times 3 we know is 18. Divide your 8 remainder 1. 6 times 5 is 30. Add this one to make it 31. 318 Ghana cedis. Unit, very, very important. 2 decimal places, very, very important. Once you ignore any of these, it is likely you will lose some marks. Just not for adding 0.00, you are going to lose some marks. So if you're a BECE candidate watching this, make sure you do the right thing so that examiners won't penalize you. Let's continue. So that is the interest the woman has to pay on top of the 5,300 Ghana cedis. That's the interest. This is your answer. You can leave it over here. Therefore, so and so and so, examiners are not interested in that. Take note of that. This is your answer. 318 Ghana cedis. You are done. Move on to the next question. You want to write therefore to, there's no problem with that. It is not wrong to do that, but then it is a waste of time. Question 4b. A father shared his piece of land to his 3 children. The first child had to faith of the land. To faith of the land. Take note of this word, of. And the second had 5 acres more than, take note of this phrase, 5 acres more than the first. If the third child had 20 acres, we have an idea here. So the code is here. Find how many acres of land the father shared. First child received. Second child received. In a question like this is where data is needed. Data is needed here because there is an unknown that we have to find it. You have to look for it. So anytime there is an unknown value that you are looking for, then you represent that with what? A variable. Normally we use x. People say you have to find x since you are still finding x. Yes, you keep on finding x. So you find it. Even if you find x, you still find another x some days to come. That's just by the way. So whose share don't we have any idea about? When you look at the question carefully, realize that we have an idea about everybody's share. The only thing we don't have idea about is the total piece of land. The total piece of land. So in your data, you let y represent the land, the total land, or the total land area. That's the total piece of land. That is y. So coming back to the question, the first child. So first child had to faith of the land. To faith of the land, which is now y. So to faith of y. Y here is representing the total piece of land. Take note of that. Now, computing this to faith times y. That gives us 2y over 5. Or to faith multiplying y. So this is the share of the first child. We move to the second child who had 5 acres more than the first. So second child had 5 acres more than. In algebra, when we hear the word more than, it simply means addition. So we are adding 5 acres to the first child's share so that the second child will receive or can receive his or her share. So we have 2y over 5 plus 5. So that is for the second child. So let's add acres. Then for the third child, you have 20 acres. So you can decide not to list the last child or the third child's share. So third child, 20 acres. Now when we add all these shares, the first child's share, the second child's share, and the third child's share, we must get the total amount or the total number of what land or the total piece of land that we have. The third child had 20 acres. So what do we do? So first child plus the second child plus the third child must give us the total piece of land, which is y. The total piece of land is y. Take note of that. So what do we have here? 2y over 5 for the first child plus 2y over 5 plus 5 for the second child, and then 20 acres for the third child. Everything here must sum up to what? Y, which is representing the total piece of land. Let's continue. So having an equation like this, anytime you have an equation with fractions, the first thing you need to do is to get rid of the denominators using the LCM. You can also say LCD, least common denominator. Here the denominators are the same. So we use 5 to divide through. It's an equation. So you can't just use the 5 to divide 2y over 5 or to multiply 2y over 5 and leave the rest. No. You need to make sure the 5 runs through each term. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 terms over here. It means 5 must repeat itself 5 times in this particular equation. Take note of that. Just so we can use it to divide our denominator to get a linear equation. A linear equation. Linear, coming from the word line. Linear. So we need a linear equation devoid of fractions. Take note of that. So let's continue. So we multiply each term by 5, which is our LCM of the denominators. So that is it. Use this 5 to divide this 5. Anytime you do the cancellation, make sure you write the quotients. Very, very important. Use this 5 to also divide this. Now 1 multiplies 2y, gives us 2y. Any number times 1 is the number itself. So 2y plus 1 times 2y, another 2y, plus 5 times 5 gives us 25, plus 20 times 5 gives us 100, is equal to 5y. That is 5 times y. Right? For any time you're multiplying a number by a variable, just put them together. Okay, we have some like terms over here that we would like to talk about. 2y plus 2y gives us 4y. 25 plus 100 gives us 125. This is equal to 5y. Now, grouping of like terms. It is not compulsory. It is not compulsory to always bring the variable term to the left hand side. No. Once it's an equation, whether the variable is on the right or on the left, the result remains the same. It doesn't matter where the variable should be. So we look out for the term with the smallest variable or the smaller variable, because there are two variable terms here. So the one with the smaller variable is 4y. So that should be taken to the right hand side of the equation. So 125 remains on the left hand side. 5y minus 4y. 125 acres is equal to y, because 5y minus 4y is y. Why is it y? 5 minus 4 is 1. And then the variable is what? Y. So we use y, and anytime there is a coefficient of 1, you don't have to write it. You don't have to write it. This is the reason. If I have 1 times 2, it is not 1, 2. It is 2. The same way, if I have 1 times y, I cannot write 1y. No, I just have to write y. So take note of that. 1 times 2, we know is what? 2, and not 1, 2. And then 1 times y should also be what? Y, and not 1y. That brings us to the end of question number 4, BECE 2025. Thank you very much. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment. I'm interested in the comments. Comment, and let's see our shortfalls to give you the best. This is Success Educational Consult, the Prosper Facilitator. Thank you.